Halo semuanya, balik lagi di Skill Tree Online episode ke-21. Nah, biasanya kan Skill Tree itu bintang tamunya di orang Indonesia ya. Nah, kali ini tuh spesial nih, kita bakal kedatangan tamu langsung dari Facebook-nya. Nah, kita akan belajar gimana caranya nge-maintaining, nge-up revenue kita menggunakan Facebook Audience Network, dan juga kita bakal belajar banyak tentang semacam marketingnya mobile game itu kayak gimana sih, dan life cycle-nya kayak gimana. So, mungkin aku bakal coba pakai bahasa Inggris dulu ya. We're gonna introduce our two awesome speaker. First is Ash from Facebook Audience Network. Could you come on stage? Hi, Ash.
Hi, Adan.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks.
Awesome. So we do have another speaker. Let me introduce you to Chi from Facebook Gaming.
Hi.
Hi, Chi.
Hi.
How are you right now? Good afternoon too. So maybe ask first, what we're gonna be learn today from your talk?
So my talk is going to focus on in-app monetization around rewarded video ads, and we'll be focusing on midcore and hardcore game genres. The ideas that we're talking about around rewarded video are applicable across all kinds of game genres.
Awesome. So what about you, Chi? What about your talk?
Yeah, today I will be sharing more on the advertising solutions available on Facebook and how developers can use these solutions to achieve better scale.
Awesome. So we do have a Q&A at the end. So we're gonna start the show today. I'll let you go to the stage. I think that's it.
All right. Well, thanks very much. And thanks everybody for joining today. First off, I do want to say a big thank you to our hosts, AGI, for having us here to speak at the Skill Tree webinar. Like we said, my name is Ash. I'm a strategic partner manager with Facebook Audience Network, and I work with developers and publishers across Southeast Asia. Now, before we move on to the main topic of winning in hardcore and midcore mobile games, I'd like to give a quick background to what Audience Network is and the value we provide to publishers and to the ecosystem. Building great experiences for people is at the core of what we do at Facebook across our entire family of apps and services. Our sustainable ad economy enables more than 2 billion people across the globe to access our services for free. There are more than 7 million advertisers around the world connecting with their audiences on Facebook. Audience Network provides the ability for those advertisers to expand their campaign off Facebook to the apps within our network, giving our publishers and developers access to massive demand globally. So what does this mean for you as a publisher or developer? A high density of advertisers enables highly targeted ads for each user, which helps to generate higher CPMs and high conversion rates. Not only does that mean more potential for ad revenue, but the breadth of advertisers helps to decrease ad fatigue and leads to an overall better user experience. By delivering great ad experiences for people, advertisers see real outcomes, which means better monetization opportunities for our publishers. It starts with delivering ad experiences that are great for people. These experiences deliver value to advertisers by helping them achieve their campaign objectives. Advertisers see greater value from their advertising investment and their confidence grows. This drives additional advertising investment into the ad ecosystem. More demand from advertisers increases the auction density within the ad network and competition for your inventory. And this ultimately translates to better CPMs and monetization opportunities for you. This sustainable cycle creates a healthy ecosystem where everyone, people, advertisers, and publishers win. So that's the basis of where Audience Network is coming from. And now it's time to move to the focus of the presentation, winning in hardcore and midcore mobile games. We know that game growth strategies differ by genre, so we've put together best practices specific to using ads in hardcore and midcore mobile games. This presentation will give an overview of the great opportunity to monetize hardcore and midcore games with ads, then focus in on how to integrate rewarded video ads without interfering with your in-app purchase model. We'll talk about success factors for your ad formats and placements and how specific publishers are seeing positive results with ads. And finally, we'll also look at how you can reinvest into your game by placing ads to acquire new users. First off, let's look at the opportunity. Whether the mobile games you produce are more mid-core or more hardcore, there are similar opportunities for monetization. Players in these genres are highly engaged, they spend a significant amount of time in the game, and they're motivated to spend money or watch an ad to advance gameplay. New research confirms the significant amount of time mobile players spend in hardcore and midcore apps. According to a new App Annie report, 76% of player time spent, this is worldwide across the top 100 games with an ad SDK, was spent in core games, which is the combination of hardcore and midcore. So that's 3/4 of all time spent in that genre of game. So we know mobile game players are spending a lot of time in hardcore and midcore mobile games, but in-app purchases, which is a traditional revenue stream for this type of game, is declining. This chart shows the percentage of paying users that are playing hardcore and midcore games decreasing quarter on quarter in 2019. In that same report, AppsFlyer shows that in-app ad revenue for hardcore and midcore games increased 34% quarter on quarter throughout 2019. So not only are in-app ads increasing in revenue potential, but they're more accepted than ever by both players as well as developers, especially large developers, who agree that ads can support a positive player experience. This is why hardcore and midcore game publishers increasingly look to scale their game revenue using a hybrid in-app purchase and ad monetization model. If you're looking to move from an in-app purchase only to a hybrid model, and by hybrid, I mean the combination of in-app purchases and in-app ads, it can help to have an experienced industry partner working with you. At Facebook Audience Network, we've worked with many publishers and developers on implementing ads alongside their IAP model, where they've successfully navigated challenges like managing player retention, guarding brand safety, balancing ad and IAP offers, monitoring ad frequency, and testing and optimization. I'll present our learnings in the following Success Factors guide, and I hope it helps you feel confident of how you could work through the same challenges when moving to a hybrid monetization model. When you integrate in-app ads for the first time, it's critical to follow best practices. Honing your approach to introducing ads can mean an incremental increase in revenue without impacting engagement, retention, or existing IAP revenue. In fact, it can even enhance those metrics. So here are 3 key success factors for successful in-app ad implementation in your hardcore or midcore mobile game. Success factor 1 is choose the right ad format. Rewarded video ads are an especially good fit for hardcore and midcore mobile games. When rewarded video is implemented well, The format offers a clear value exchange between players, publishers, and advertisers. Rewarded video also works well alongside in-app purchases. 79% of developers surveyed said a rewarded video is their most successful format, and that's from developers who already use that hybrid IAP in-app ad monetization model. Some of the things the developers said is that rewarded video is the way to go where users feel validated and rewarded for watching the video, but the rewards need to be balanced. Players should want to watch the ads, and that can mean frequency capping to ensure the best user experience. And the users need to receive something of value in exchange for watching the video ad. Taking a look at Mechanist Games, a Xiamen-based hardcore mobile game publisher, Mechanist produces immersive action role-playing and fantasy titles like City of Steam Arcadia and Spirit Guardian. After struggling to monetize solely with in-app purchases, Mechanist decided to test a hybrid monetization model. Using Facebook rewarded video alongside in-app purchases, they've seen 30% higher CPMs compared to other ad formats. And now 10% of their total revenue is generated from in-app ads with Audience Network. When building rewarded video ads into your game, you also have to consider the best entry points. This is success factor number 2. There are 3 key elements to consider for successful entry points: common placements, or where to insert rewarded video ads into your hardcore or midcore game, the design innovation on how to make the entry points attractive enough to draw player attention, and the value exchange, what players receive by opting into rewarded video ads. In all of these, you need to consider the player experience first. Player churn happens when a level is too difficult, the player doesn't want to wait to make a purchase, or wait to unlock gameplay. Consider how you can build entry points to address and alleviate these challenges for players. The right entry point for your game is a combination of these 3 pillars, as you can see in this chart. Rewarded video performance and quality of player experience relies on your own successful formula of these 3 elements within the design, in-game economy, and user interaction of your own game. Next, we'll look at some examples to inspire you on what, where, and how to insert rewarded video ads into your game. We'll start with some examples of where you can place rewarded video in your game. During a session, place a rewarded video mid-game session in exchange for premium content or high-value items as a great way to increase user engagement, session length, and retention. At app launch, a rewarded video after launching the app to help increase impressions and user engagement. And the daily mission or mailbox, placing a rewarded video in the daily mission mailbox to monetize daily almost every active user. This integration is highly prominent at app launch, and it helps with app retention by incentivizing users to return to the game every day. When you're considering these placements, take into account user reach. You can expect more ad revenue from a placement that reaches more users. Pre and post session. There we go. Placing a rewarded video before or after the game session is one of the most popular placements. It offers a high temptation factor and limited alternative routes for players, and therefore can create a high emotional attachment. In the shop, place a rewarded video in the shop to monetize players who are in a purchase mindset but might not want to spend real dollars or money in a store. This also helps users who are not ready to make their first in-app purchase by giving them an idea of the value an in-app purchase could deliver them later on. And in the lobby, place a rewarded video in the lobby to increase session length or retention. As one of the highest visibility locations, the lobby placement can be useful for introducing new users to the value exchange of rewarded video ads. Now we'll move on to some examples of how you can integrate rewarded videos into your game. The first example is the most simple, direct. The players are attracted to interact with a simple ad to access a reward. But there are more options than that, and you can be a bit more creative. A lucky wheel, players can see a selection of rewards and spin a wheel to win one. Or a mystery box, where players have the opportunity to access an unknown reward. But in this case, make sure you disclose to users what the reward could be and the probability of winning to make sure that you maintain the user's trust. A notification. Remind players to come back and watch a video to receive a reward by using a small icon above the menu. And finally, multi-reward videos. And these ones I admit I'm quite susceptible to. Multi-reward videos can be used to remind users how many rewarded video views are remaining. You can offer players the chance to watch 5 videos paired with small rewards in a timed sequence in order to open a box with a big reward. And this is great for encouraging re-engagement and retention in the game. Now some examples of what you can offer as a reward in your game. Free lives. You can offer free lives or free items, such as decreased wait time during game sessions. This can help to increase the engagement rate, since without a free life, players wouldn't be able to continue without paying and they might churn. A free item trial. You can offer players the option to free trial paying items in the game before or after the session. This contributes to a normal engagement rate, since the player will opt in depending on the item quantity and quality, and that can all be controlled and balanced by the developer. You can also offer players a limited number of in-app currency like coins or diamonds as a daily bonus. This can increase the likelihood of players cultivating a routine and staying in the game longer. When you think about the value exchange, you need to take into account the rewarded video engagement rate, which we think of as the unique rewarded video watches over the total DAU of the game. If the user perceives the reward to be less attractive or less valuable, they're not so likely to watch the video. An average engagement rate for rewarded video in this genre is around 30%. Now we've covered the most important elements to consider when building ads into your app, but you and your team know your game best, so before you start design and development, be sure to review these questions with your team. Is this the best time to show a video, or will it distract players? How many players will reach the section per day? Will this placement allow us to generate the highest volume of impressions? Is the rewarded video design attractive enough to entice players? Is the reward too much or not enough, and is it balanced with the game economy? As you can see from Ludia, the right entry point certainly varies by game. For them, battle entry points for rewarded video were a big win. Ludia saw a 4 times increase in rewarded video ad revenue since integrating rewarded video with Facebook Audience Network in their build and battle simulation games like Jurassic World the Game and Dragon's Rise of Berk. And I think what's more important, that 4 times increase on ad revenue did not impact their IAP revenue. They actually saw players spending on average 25% more time in-game after they implemented ads compared to when they were running IAP only. Optimizing for performance is success factor 3. Once you've selected rewarded video entry points to implement, you need to track how will the performance impact ads on your game. It's also important to consider ad frequency and analyze the discoverability of the rewarded video entry points. A significant part of optimizing for revenue is measuring performance impact of ads on your game. So you should be sure to benchmark and compare ARPDAU and retention. If you'd like a step-by-step guide on measuring the first-time impact of guides on your game, you can search the Audience Network website for a guide, 7 Steps from IAP to Ads, a guide to testing hybrid monetization. Ad frequency is also a key factor for optimizing ad monetization success. The exact number of ads you should show during gameplay will vary depending on the game and your monetization mix. Here are the top factors to consider: the average number of sessions per day and the average session length, the type of gameplay, the average number of levels a user can complete per session, and the balance of rewards and ads versus in-app purchase. A/B testing of the ad frequency is the best way to understand optimum ad impressions while still maintaining positive user experience. And it's worth noting that ad frequency capping abilities can vary by mediation platform. Once you know how many users will reach the section you've chosen to place your ad, we suggest you use benchmarks to analyze the potential engagement rate for your entry point. This is called the rewarded video discoverability analysis. To identify your potential ad revenue, consider your user reach, the engagement rate, and the average CPMs. Although you can't control average CPM, you can adjust user interactions to help increase CPM. After your first ad iteration, you should definitely continue to analyze and find ways to improve ad discoverability. Part of choosing the right ad format includes choosing the right ad network to serve them. When deciding which ad SDK to download and use, you should consider the choice of partners according to these factors. Can they match ad placements to the people most interested in those ads based on the player's interests? Are their ad formats designed to enable the best player experience? Can the ad network offer block lists, keyword blocking, severity level controls, and other publisher controls? And does the ad network have a global reach of advertisers? I think it's really important to consider these things. These are all player-centric considerations because really the player experience has to come first when you're playing the game. For reference, some brief detail on how Facebook Audience Network delivers on these. So relevant ads create a better experience for people and smarter monetization. We use the same people-based marketing on Audience Network as is used in Newsfeed to match ads with your users' interests. That means the ads people see on your app are more interesting and engaging to them, which leads to better results and more revenue for you. Our interface contains built-in controls to ensure ads align with your brand values. You can protect your app with brand-safe ads, multiple types of block lists, keyword blocking, severity level controls, and more to help you ensure quite high-quality ad experience. And with access to global Facebook advertisers who want to scale their campaigns and extend their reach beyond Facebook newsfeed or Instagram, you can monetize your app or site worldwide. That demand drives tremendous value for you and can provide high fill rates and CPMs. There's one more best practice to consider to grow your game. When your monetization through in-app ads begins to drive additional revenue, you can then reinvest part of that revenue into user acquisition. Netmarble, one of the fastest growing game companies in South Korea, produces hit role-playing games like King of Fighters All-Stars. Netmarble decided to diversify from IAP-only monetization and conducted in-depth testing to find the best rewarded video entry points within the game. Having unlocked a new revenue stream for rewarded video, they invested it back into acquiring high-quality paying users. Let's look at that cycle of monetization and user acquisition in a little more detail. This illustration shows the cycle of sustainable growth. As players engage with ads, you earn more and can spend more on ads to acquire new, high-value users. As of June 2020, Audience Network and AppsFlyer have partnered to offer campaign-level in-app ad return on ad spend measurement. This offers detailed insights that allow you to prioritize where to reinvest into user acquisition efforts for your games. This all works together to help you achieve higher scale and reach in user acquisition on Facebook through players with a high lifetime value. In summary, there's a significant growth opportunity with hardcore and mid-core mobile games. With an increasing global market for these games, now's a great time to grow your reach internationally. And with today's player-friendly ad formats like rewarded video, along with a variety of creative entry points, now is a good time to monetize with ads. As we've seen from the publisher examples like Netmarble, Ludia, and Mechanist, there's a significant potential for incremental ad revenue with high CPMs, while balancing gameplay, maintaining your existing IAP revenue, maximizing retention, and reinvesting in user acquisition. Now, before I go, I'd like to invite everyone in the audience to join our growing Audience Network Facebook group for app developers across Southeast Asia and ANZ. You can do that by clicking on the QR code or scanning the QR code that's on the screen right now. And we also have the URL running in the ticker on the screen. We post regular updates and insights in the group. You can ask questions directly to the Audience Network Southeast Asia team, as well as making connections between yourselves and other developers. If you missed this now, please reach out later on and we'll be happy to help you to join. One reminder though, if you do join the group, please answer the membership questions when you're joining because that allows us to help you onboard quickly. Also, visit the Supercharge Your Game hub on the Facebook Audience Network website to easily link to more online resources to help grow and monetize your mobile game. The site includes many step-by-step guides and publisher success stories that we've talked about in this presentation, as well as many other helpful guides and documents. It includes a downloadable version of this Success Factors presentation that you can share with your team. Now, thank you very much for your attention. I'm going to pass over to Chi to discuss Facebook's mobile gaming solutions.
Thank you, Ash. A good afternoon to everybody here. My name is Chi. I'm a Client Solutions Manager on APAC Gaming team. I work with a lot of publishers and developers in our region to help them use Facebook advertising solutions to get more scale for their games. Without further ado, let me introduce you to my focus today, which is to introduce to you some of the mobile gaming solutions that's available on Facebook. Facebook is the place to launch and grow your mobile game. Our solutions are uniquely designed to help drive discovery within our diverse global community. Furthermore, when you partner with Facebook, you partner with the entire family of apps and services, which allows you to further widen your reach and give you access not only to Facebook, but also to Instagram and Audience Network as well. As a whole, this presents game marketers and game developers with the opportunity to maximize business value in a more personalized, innovative, and efficient manner. And some of the useful statistics here, our platform are connecting with the industry to the 3 billion people and the millions and millions of gamers around the world. And it's not just about connection. Our family of apps and services give you the power to become an integral part of people's daily lives. So whether being it to share experiences with friends, discover new games, or watch gaming content and streaming, or engaging with stories, with videos, we can connect you to a highly engaged audience in a way that's both meaningful and personal. Talking about our gaming community on Facebook, at present, we have a vibrant and very active gaming community on Facebook. Our family of apps and services has become the place for gaming discovery and engagement. Every month, more than 7 million people play games, watch gaming videos, or engage with gaming groups on Facebook. And 40% of people engaging with games on Facebook each month are women. Moreover, we have about 160 million of monthly active people in 450,000 gaming groups on Facebook. If we talk about the journey of a modern consumer of gaming, they go through multiple touch points every day when they discover, evaluate, and download or engage with a mobile game. And each touch point, whether it's discovering a game, chatting a group, or messaging a gaming brand, presents a unique opportunity to drive KPIs that's important to you. 50% of mobile gamers who discover new mobile games do so on Facebook family of apps. This is definitely an interesting piece of statistics, and 26% of them follow a mobile game or a brand on Facebook. And high spenders are more than 1.5 times likely than mobile gamers to be grouped first when it comes to their daily activities on Facebook. And 42% of mobile games chat, make plans, or share recommendations about mobile games with friends on Facebook family of apps. Without further ado, let's take a look about all the advertising placement or options that's available on Facebook. There really is a multitude of available placement across Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, and Messenger, as you can see on this slide. The more placement your ad appears in, the more opportunities you have to reach or convert someone for your mobile app, or mobile games. For example, if we look at Facebook, there are also a plethora of placement available on Facebook itself. You have Facebook feed, you have instant articles, video feed, stories, and also in-stream videos. Similarly, on Instagram, you have the Instagram feed, Instagram stories, and Instagram Explore. And you also have native banners, interstitials, rewarded videos on Audience Network. And next, we can move to the next slide. Going beyond just a visual impact, you can also create truly immersive and powerful experiences. Videos can be used in many forms and formats to further app install and drive app re-engagement. As you can see here, we have bite-sized animated GIFs that capture attention quickly. We also have extended and interactive experiences such as playable ads or Audience Network rewarded videos. After seeing all these options that's available on Facebook, in the next session, I will be sharing with you specifically 2 products. And the first product is an introduction of the different targeting and optimization capabilities available on Facebook to help you acquire users of the best value for you. And the second product that I will be introducing to you is a product that we just launched in September that allows for more automation and a more simplified structure. If you are new to Facebook solutions, this might sound very abstract or very new, but don't worry, we'll be happy to share with you more resources that you can learn about this product after this live streaming session. So don't worry if that sounds a little bit complicated to you for now. As we can imagine, the game has a life cycle. Our experiences on Facebook has enabled us to develop a strategy that allows you to craft the best marketing strategies in each phase of the game lifecycle. We believe there are 4 distinct phases, each of which requires a different strategy to acquire users. In an ideal world, the marketing spend and game revenue will look something like this, these curves as you see here. In the soft launch phase, what you want to do is to employ a test and learn strategy to allow you to execute efficiently and to test what will be the best strategy going forward. In a global launch phase, in a global launch life cycle, what you want to do might be to scale your game when CPIs are at their lowest. As time goes on, you might be shifting to acquiring more higher quality users, and eventually you might want to do re-engagement to maintain and grow your revenue over time. So in each of these gaming life cycles, what will be the campaign levers or Facebook marketing strategies that's available to you? We'll be sharing that in the next slide. As you can see here, there are a couple of campaign levers that you can leverage depending on what your objective for that particular game phase would be. For example, where do you want your ad to appear? Do you want them to appear on Facebook or Instagram or any placement? If so, you will be choosing the relevant placement options. And who do you want to see your ads? That will in turn determine what will be your targeting options. And how do I optimize my campaign against my business objectives? That will determine what kind of optimization you might be using. And how do I measure my success? That then determines what kind of measurement solutions that you might want to choose on Facebook. And we will be answer each of these levers in more detail now. Firstly, let's take a look at targeting and optimization. Our targeting and optimization tools work together to ensure your ads will reach the most responsive audience and the best quality audience to achieve the outcome that's most important to you. Once you shared with us your objective, be it installs, be it views, conversions, app purchases, and your targeting preferences, their location, demographics, interests, our machine learning algorithm will factor in all your inputs and will be finding the best people that satisfy your needs and deliver your message to the audiences that are most likely to take the action that you desire. Talking about targeting, there are different targeting options available on Facebook. So today we'll be sharing with you 3 different targeting options: core audiences, lookalike audiences, and custom audiences. So what are core audiences? Those are audiences that you can define based on certain traits. These traits are something that we can define with Facebook native targeting. For example, let's look at the next slide. For example, some of the native targeting labels or options could be demographics, locations, interests, or behaviors. Interests enable you to reach people based on their hobbies and the page they like on Facebook. Location enables you to reach people in cities, countries, and communities you want to do business with. And demographics enables you to reach people based on their age, gender, and more labels. And behaviors enable you to reach people based on their purchase behavior, device usage, and other activities. Next, let's look at custom audiences. Custom audience is definitely a very powerful form of audience that allows you to find relevant audiences based on your own data in a privacy-safe way. You can choose to create custom audience by importing a list of contacts, or you can leverage the actions people take on your website or in your mobile app via Facebook Pixel or SDK. And you might be aware of lookalike audiences, which is a special form of custom audience. And lookalike audience is really a mechanism that Facebook looks to expand your audience to prospect new audiences. We will be having a seed audience, which is supplied by you, and Facebook will be looking for people who are most similar to this seed audience. And lookalike audience has also 2 types. One of them is the normal lookalike, and another one will be value-based lookalike. So we will be taking a look at value-based audience specifically in the next slide. Value-based lookalikes is our unique capability to further refine lookalike audiences by using value metrics. Value-based lookalikes allow you to optimize campaigns based on the specific values that you assign to high potential customers. This could be revenue generated by that customer via in-app purchase. It also could be how long each customer spends in your game, or could be other related metrics that's important to you, for example, your projected LTV or PLTV. On this slide, what you are seeing is that we have different optimization capabilities available at your disposal for you to deliver ads to people who are most likely to take your desired action. If your desired action is number of mobile installs, you can choose the installs optimization objective. And Facebook will be optimizing for cost per install or CPI. If you think certain app events, such as purchase event, will be important to you, you can also choose the app event optimization, or in short, AEO, that's available on Facebook. Here, with AEO, Facebook will be optimizing for cost per unique event or cost per purchase, or CPP in short, so that we will not only look at people who will install the game, but we will also be looking at people who will be more likely to take an action as your desired action as an app event. The third type of optimization is value optimization, or in short, VO. In VO, we will be delivering ads to people who will be likely to give you a higher return on ad spend, or ROAS. And here we directly optimize for purchase value. So here are the three commonly used optimization methods available on Facebook. And what we see today is that it is advised that you can use a combination of these three different kinds of optimizations to achieve a better business outcome for your games. And based on our study, we have found that if you use a mixture of different optimization objectives, then you have a higher potential to achieve a better incremental installs, and a combination of the different KPIs that you value for your business, rather than using one single format of optimization. So we do encourage you to really consider what metrics are important to you and see which of these three different optimization objectives is best for you, and we'll be using a combination of those to achieve your business objectives. And you might be wondering, just now we talked about optimization. We also talk about different targeting options. You might be wondering, what is the best combination of these two, and how do I use these two things, two levers together? So on this chart, you might you see that if the gray circles represent certain gamer, if you are using a very narrow targeting option, you might be only getting a fraction of the total universe of audiences that's available to you. So if you want to really maximize the opportunity, you might want to consider the different targeting options. So on the next slide, you can see that the broad audience targeting type has the potential to achieve a lower CPIs and greater scale while maintaining ROAS with VO, or minimum ROAS bidding. So this definitely shows that you don't have to only choose one type of targeting. Instead, you should have a test and learn mindset to use the different targeting options and the different optimization options and test if which one will be working better for you. Sometimes the narrower the targeting doesn't mean that you'll have a better outcome. So the key message here is that there are options available, but how do we use them is really for us to test and learn. So on this chart, you will see that we want to ideally pair the most suitable targeting option with the respective optimization objective. If you want to target, if you want to really acquire high value users, then casting a very narrow net might not be the best option. So if you are really targeting for value users, we recommend you to consider a broader targeting and a wider audience. If you are considering optimizing for app events, then you can definitely use a combination or mix of different audiences. You can try broad targeting. You can also try the different of lookalikes and interest labels. And if you're optimizing for installs and you want to have a certain control over the type of audience that you'll be getting, so you can definitely consider value-based lookalike to be used in conjunction with MAI. So this is just an example of how do we map out the different optimization objectives with the different targeting options. It doesn't mean that you have to go this way. You can definitely test it out. For example, can I use broad targeting with MAI? Definitely, for sure. So you can definitely test out how do you combine this, what way of combining these targeting options and optimization methods will be working best for you. So this is just an example and doesn't mean that this has to be the way that you pair them. On this next slide, you might see that as the game progresses in its life cycle, you might also want to use different mix or different percentages of the different optimization objectives. For example, in your initial launch phase, what you want to achieve is really the maximum number of installs. You might want to choose app install optimization only, or you can definitely incorporate some of these other app event optimization or value optimization. As you progress this later in the game's life cycle, you scale or number of installs might not be important to you anymore. Instead, your more important KPI might be shifting into the number of purchase events or the values of these users. So in that circumstance, what you want to do is to might be that you want to adopt more app event optimization or value optimization instead of just using app install. So this is also an example of as your KPIs change along the life cycle of the game, you might also want to adapt your optimization strategy in response to the change of your business objectives. And next, we talked about a lot of the optimization or targeting levers that you have on Facebook, and you might also want to ask another important question is, what will be the account structure for my campaigns? So going to the next slide, this is kind of representative or example of what might be happening in your ad account. You might be creating a lot of different campaigns, and under each campaign, you might be creating these different all different ad sets targeting different segments of people, and not to mention that under each ad set, you might be putting a lot of different ads inside each ad set. It's not to say that this structure has a problem, but if you can see how the structure is laid out, it might be a little bit complicated. And the more complicated the structure is, it might mean that the less efficiency there is. So we want to leverage on Facebook's machine learning capability as much as possible, and therefore it is possible today for you to simplify your account structure. On this next slide, you can see a much more simplified account structure that's rooted in our auction and delivery best practices. This will enable you to efficiently across all the different Facebook family of ads. This simplified account structure leads to more auction signal to drive faster exit from the learning phase, resulting in more efficient CPAs, and it can increase your scale by consolidating whenever possible to give the maximum outcomes, the maximum number of signals to our auction system. It also removes any kind of constraints and allows our machine learning system to really perform at its optimal level. As you can see here, this is an illustrated example of what is learning phase, which we just talked about. During the learning phase, the delivery system is exploring the best way to deliver your ad. And when the delivery system has enough results or enough outcomes, then it will exist the learning phase, which allows you to then have a more stable performance or more stable CPIs or CPAs. So as a rule of thumb, the system exits learning phase when we have more than 50 results in about 7 days. But again, 50 and 7 is just a guidance, doesn't mean every ad set will be having 50 and 7. It really depends on the specific settings that you are using. But do bear in mind when you set up your campaigns is that you need a certain number of results in order for the system to exit learning phase. If your ad set are able to exceed learning phase faster, it might potentially lead to a better performance in terms that you might have more results and you might have a lower CPA if you exceed learning phase faster. On the next slide, we are also sharing with you some of the common things that when we are managing our campaigns, we might be changing on a daily basis. We might be able to change the budget. You might want to change the bid amount. And sometimes we do see advertisers changing other things such as targeting. They might be adding new creatives and things like that. So it is a common mindset that if we want to manage our campaigns well, we might want to make these changes. But when you are making these changes, do be aware that changing these settings will reset the learning phase. So your ad sets will go back to learning phase again. Then to be able to exceed learning phase and to be able to optimize faster and in a more stable manner and to really capitalize on the learnings that we got from the learning phase, you need another 50 conversions in 7 days. So when you're making changes, do be aware of the impact to learning phase. And whenever it's possible, you might want to have a stabilized performance after the learning phase before judging whether this ad set is performing well or performing worse, performing not so well. So there are definitely some best practices that we recommend for your ad account structure and for your campaign management practices. So some of the best practices are listed here. You should avoid frequent edits, but edits are definitely necessary sometimes, but do try to reduce the frequency of edits. And you can reduce the number of ad sets and consolidate as far as possible. We do provide you with some certain levers. For example, you can set multiple languages in a single ad set so that you can avoid setting multiple ad sets per country. And as far as possible, we recommend you to remove constraints in the campaign levers. So you can consider your budget, your bidding, your audience sizes, and give the maximum opportunity for the machine learning to explore. Yeah, so to illustrate our practices, our best practice recommendations just now, instead of having too many ad sets, you can actually combine as far as possible. So in this case, you don't have to set one particular ad set per country. You can combine them together in one single geography. Our delivery system really works to find the best result based on your goals while taking into consideration all the constraints that you set to our system. We recommend to set as few constraints as possible to allow the maximum potential for the machine learning system to explore. For example, some of the common mistakes are listed here. You might be setting up a very small targeting option. If your targeting is really small, then it's really hard for the system to find enough result in 7 days to exceed learning phase. And as a result, you might see that your performance is not good. It doesn't mean that it's your ad. It doesn't mean that it's your game. It could be just that the audience that you have set for the ad set to explore is really too small. So we don't really have enough opportunities to get the best or the maximum number of results. So when it comes to targeting, do consider balancing the right targeting options, the labels or the definitions you want to choose, and the actual size of the audience to have a best balance between these two. So similarly, you might be setting the placement too small. You might be choosing only Instagram stories, and that's too small, and you are leaving out all these other options available on Facebook. And similarly, if the budget is too small or the bid is too low, that might also impact learning phase. That's putting a lot of constraints on the system, so you might not get enough result to exceed learning phase. So I will take a pause here. So just now we learned about the different targeting options, optimization options, and we learned about some of the best practices recommendations in terms of campaign structure and in terms of how you manage learning phase. And next, I will be sharing with you one of the products we proudly launched in September, and that's called Automated App Ads, or with the nickname AAA. So this is a new product that allows you to achieve better results and a greater scale in a more automated manner. Without further ado, let's take a look at what is AAA. So you might have noticed that if you have a Facebook ad account, you will see that automated app ads is available in your ad account right now. You can choose to create a manual campaign, just like what you used to do or what you used to do before. You can also choose to opt in into automated app ads, which will create and manage campaigns for your app install or app events or VO more efficiently. This is really a huge step forward in terms of AAA. It's a new way to really run app ads on Facebook that enables you to achieve more with less. We build AAA product to help business grow through better performance in driving more of the results you value and at a greater scale and more sustained or stable performance. With AAA, it's our next step to really help solve for sustainability in app campaign performance that previous app ad solutions might not have addressed. So if you are running any kind of app install objective ads, you'll see that this is available to all the ad accounts. Yeah, during the testing phase of AAA product, we really do see that this product has a lot of potential in the sense that it has the potential to drive lower CPI, to drive higher ROAS, and to provide you more conversions per dollar invested. Automated app ads really use a simplified structure, which we will be seeing a little bit more later, that to prevent audience overlap and to really reduce the number of campaigns and reduce the number of constraints to get the maximum number of results. It's really streamlined in that sense, with fewer inputs that's required from the advertiser, and so that you can also manage your campaign more easily and you can launch your campaigns faster. Okay, so just now we talked a lot about learning phase and how machine learning works. So this is a brief overview of how AAA really works. If we compare AAA with the traditional or the kind of manual app ads that you used before, you can see that in manual app ads, you will need about 40 plus inputs in terms of bidding, optimization, targeting, many targeting options, many different placement options. And in AAA, we have reduced the number to about 15. So you really need less input for AAA. So not only we have less inputs required for AAA, we also simplified the campaign structure dramatically. In the past, you have multiple ad sets and multiple ads per campaign, and in automated app ads, you only have one campaign, one ad set, and one ad. when we are optimizing or managing our manual app ads, it requires really a lot of manual adjustment. However, in AAA, we really have more reliance on machine learning to make this adjustment for us. In manual app ads, you might need to manually set up creatives, but in AAA, you upload creative assets once, and Facebook system will do the automatic combination and rotation for you. How do I set up a AAA campaign? It's actually really simple. So navigating to your ads manager, selecting AAA, and next you will see the targeting option pop up. In AAA, there are, next slide, please. In AAA, there are less options on targeting. You will see that you are able to select a targeting country or a combination of countries. You can also set the language. And that's all you have to set up in terms of targeting. And in terms of optimization, it's very similar to your manual app ads. You have the option of app installs, app events, and value. And in addition, you also have a balance of app installs with app events option if you value both installs and app events. So there are 4 optimization options available in AAA for you to choose that's which one is best suited for your business objective. And similarly, you can set up your bidding and your budget for your AAA campaigns. And on the next slide, you can see that the way that we set up ad creatives in AAA is a little bit different from your manual app ads. So in AAA, you can upload currently up to 50 creative assets and a couple of different text or copies and call to actions so that we can mix and match and dynamically combine those different options to deliver to the audience. It is also worth noting that since AAA is really targeting the widest audience possible, that currently you can only create one AAA campaign per optimization type per app ID. So you will not be able to create multiple AAA campaigns for the same optimization type. This is also an effort to reduce the overlap in terms of audiences and to really to maximize the budget that you have to the most optimal level. So that's a brief introduction on the AAA. So that's another product that I would like to share with you today. So with that, I have finished my product sharing, and I believe now we'll be open for question and answer.
Thank you so much for Chi and Ash. That's really packed with so much useful information. And we believe that Facebook now support AAA games, which is not AAA as usual, but automated ads apps. Okay, without further ado, we're gonna open the Q&A session. Maybe first question. Oke, this is in bahasa. So, bagaimana cara mendapatkan ads yang benar agar pemain tidak terganggu? So, Putra asked that, what's the good tips that to make about ad placement that not intrusive to the player? I think that's kind of it. Like, do you have any tips to make sure that the player doesn't make the ads doesn't annoy the player? That's thing that I would say probably.
Yeah, so I think some of the best practices are mentioned in the presentation, but some of the things to consider there. One would be think about what mindset the player is in when they get the offer to watch the ad. So you don't want to pause them in the middle of playing a level and ask them to see an ad, because that's annoying, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
What we usually find is when a when a player has finished one task, which might be playing a level or doing something else within the game, and they're ready to move on to the next activity within the app, that's a good point to offer them an ad. But I think it's also important to think about rewarded video as being a kind of unique ad unit compared to, say, banner ads or interstitial ads. because you're actually not pushing the ad to the user, you're offering the ad to the user, and the user has the ability to accept or to say no thank you. So the actual nature of rewarded video is that it's less intrusive than other formats. But aside from that, then, you know, I think doing a lot of testing when you're implementing the ads is the best way to do it. So you can look at, you know, what is the rewarded video engagement rate. So that was the number of rewarded video users compared to the number of DAU that reach a certain section of the game, to see whether users are engaging or not with that particular ad. And also to monitor churn. So, you know, are users churning when they get to this point? Has the churn rate changed after the introduction of rewarded video, where it was lower before? So A/B testing is definitely, and you know, a big part of it, because there's no, you know, kind of blanket rule that you can apply. What works for one game, may not work for another, even if they're quite similar. Yeah, so those are some of the things to consider.
Awesome. Chi, do you want to add something? Okay. I think yeah, that's the thing that's interesting about the rewarded ads. So the user had the agency to kind of like accept or not the rather than, you know, pull up in your face like ads, full screen, etc. Right? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Next question. So Adam asked that, can we target ads based on people who spend on similar apps or related to like the Facebook audience network?
Would this be on the, I think this would be more of a campaign setup question.
Okay, campaign setup, right. Oh, maybe Chi will answer?
Yeah. I suppose that you want to target ads based on people who spend on similar apps, with the objective that, with the hypothesis that you think people who spend on similar apps will also spend in your app. I think that's maybe the hypothesis behind. So in terms of targeting, we do respect a lot on privacy. So in that sense, what you are able to target is probably an interest label. For example, the generic genres that people are interested in, or you might be able to find certain competitor labels as an interest label, but not every game, not all of your competitors or similar apps will become an interest label. It really depends on how many people are interested in that. So you might find some labels or not, or you can definitely find the generic genre of the similar apps. So you can target those people. But what I do encourage you to do really is to try Facebook's app event optimization or value optimization. So in that way, you don't have to target specifically who will see your app. You leave leave Facebook machine learning in the driving seat, so that we can help you to find those potential payers. So in that sense, I do encourage you to try it out to see if that option will actually work better in providing you with the high value users, rather than targeting using the targeting option to really for a specific similar app or competitor app.
Right.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think there's because the previous kind of like in the past that we need to kind of like making our own label, kind of like CEO, to make sure that targeted to certain that you explained before, right? So yeah, I think that's good if we use the machine learning that we use in Facebook. Yeah, I think that's good. Next question. Fania asks, how to measure that we optimize enough or not when we targeting our audience? Because like the KPI from one game to other is kind of different, right? Like there's small games and then like the big games. So how to make sure that the state of we're in is optimized or not based on the audience?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's a really good question. Which also means that there's no simple answer to that. So I guess the most, yeah, it's very important that you have a kind of thought through what KPIs is really important to you. So in terms of Facebook machine learning, there are different definitely different perspectives to look at this question. What is a good performance? For machine learning, it means that if the performance is stable, then it's a good considered a good performance. But even if we have a stable performance that doesn't meet our marketing KPI, then it's not good performance overall. So I would suggest the audience to really thought through what KPIs will be the most important for you. And once you know whether it's CPI or it's ROAS or it's scale or be what kind of KPI you really look at, then choose based on your KPI, choose the optimization or the objective that most suitable for that KPI.
I see.
And after that, follow the best practices. For example, have a simple structure, allow less constraints for machine learning to really pick up on the campaign. And when the performance stabilizes, we do an evaluation of whether it's good enough for our KPI or not. And then from there, we might be able to draft a few hypotheses like and we continue to test and learn to see which way is really best for us. So it's a really long journey, and it takes more than one campaign. Yeah, but I think to put it simply is to really know very well your KPI and choose the most suitable objective and follow the best practices and have a test and learn mindset.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question because, like, it's a live operation. Like, like the whole game is one hypothesis to other hypothesis, and we try again through the A/B testing to the machine learning, etc. Right? Like, I believe maybe I add a little bit. Like, maybe we kind of like start small, not too complex for the KPI, and then based on the key answer, if it's stable, and we do kind of like scaffolding, right? Like adding another KPI, and then make sure that it's stable again or something like that. Do you agree with that?
But fortunately, today in our ads manager, we do provide one metric for the advertisers, is that you will be able to see directly whether your ad set is in learning phase. So that's an indicator of whether the performance is stable already or not yet. So that's an indicator for you to see if it's stable. But whether that meets your KPI is another strategic discussion. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, maybe next question. Oh, Adam asked again. Do you have any insight of what kind of ads type based on the most popular in Indonesia?
I guess that's hard to say because the ad type tends to depend on the app type. So, I guess what we tend to find is on the more casual, hyper casual side of gaming, more of a mix of ads. So whilst rewarded video, I would say rewarded video is a very effective ad format across all of the genres. Interstitial is more accepted within casual and hyper casual, and I think just because it's a more of a snackable kind of game. Users generally have short session lengths. Often the levels are quite short, so it's not quite as in depth. Users are kind of I think a bit more accepting of that kind of slightly more intrusive ad. And same with banner ads or as well. So users might accept a small banner at the bottom of the screen, in a casual game where not every pixel of screen real estate is dedicated to something very critical to the gameplay. But at the same time, I mean, those kinds of formats, particularly banner, will have significantly lower CPM compared to the more engaging formats because people tend to some extent become blind to banners after a while. You
already know that is a bad,
you don't see it anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
I think this. Okay.
Yeah. I think that that's the more casual, hyper casual games, that tends to be more mixed. When you start going more towards the hardcore side of gaming and the serious business gaming, then the industry is moving towards accepting rewarded video, as I've been talking about in the presentation. And users are becoming more used to that as an option, I think, because it does give them that choice between watching it and not. When if they don't want to be disturbed by watching an ad, they don't have to be. And in those kinds of games, generally you wouldn't see banners in a hardcore game, and generally not interstitials either. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that specifically for Indonesia that the market is particularly different to other markets when it comes to that kind of trend.
I see. That's. Chi, do you want to add something?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess if we pivoted to our advertising question, like which kind of ad is most popular in Indonesia, I would say there's no definite answer to which ad is really the most popular, but really about trying the different formats available and find the one that's most suitable.
I see. So there's no kind of rule of thumb kind of things, but I think that's two good answer for the question. Next question. Okay, this is Indonesia. So Ibnu is asking that, is there now wait just kind of like reading it. Pendaftaran untuk pembicaraan tentang depan. Oh, so Ibnu asked that Ibnu wants to kind of register to the Facebook Ads network, and it always fails with the message kind of some of the platform is not available. Wait. About the purchases, kind of I don't think the some of the platforms not available for the purchases area, or kind of probably is about is there any kind of limitation, why
there could be. So there are some limitations for signing up self-service when it comes to finalizing the bank account details and this kind of thing. What I suggest there is join our group on Facebook. If you have a specific question, we'll be happy to look into it. And if there's a question particularly around having difficulty onboarding onto Audience Network, our colleague Fu looks after new business across Southeast Asia. His email address is on that group, so as a pinned post. So if you're having trouble onboarding, you can reach out directly to him. So please join the group, and we'll be able to help you through that channel.
Right. So Ibnu, I think the first step, I think you need to kind of go to the group on the ticker, Audience Network, and then ask the specific question on there. I think there's people dedicated to the group, right?
Yeah. If anyone has trouble getting the details now for the group, will you make that accessible? So if they ping you, are you able to send out a link, Adan?
Yeah. Also after the show, I'm kind of try to promote the group as well.
Great, thank you.
Great. Probably next question. We do have two more questions. New Age asks that, could we get a contact for one in Facebook Audience Network, especially when we have trouble setting up a Facebook Audience Network, such as ad mob mediation is not showing Facebook ad, etc.
Yep, come and join the group. That's what we can help with there.
I see.
So there's 4 people from Facebook at least that monitor that group at least every couple of days to check any queries coming through. So we'll see it. If you just post on the group, then we'll see it and come back to you.
Right. So probably this is the last question. Christian asks, many people in Indonesia use Facebook actively, and we want to monetize them for game, right? Does the Facebook audience network have a plan to connect with Indo devs, such as like workshop and etc. for local devs? I think Chi or I think Ash.
Well, I think that if this is around audience network, I mean, absolutely. This what we're doing here today is somewhat a first step towards reaching out to Indonesian devs. I was speaking before the presentation about how audience network itself has gone through several changes in focus over the years, and certainly we're 100% focused on gaming at the moment. This year has made things a little bit challenging when it comes to making connections in markets where we don't have some physical presence. And while we do have an office in Jakarta, we don't have an Indonesian audience network person on the ground. However, I do cover the market, and up until March this year, I was coming to Jakarta quite frequently, but working with more so with other verticals in the market. So yeah, look, like we're definitely keen to work more with Indonesia developers and to develop relationships and connections and to provide as much support as we can. Hopefully we can do some more things through AGI, and you know, outside of that, we're certainly looking for what opportunities we can find to make more connections and to support the market. So again, on this, look, I'm really happy to speak one-on-one, or if you want to, you know, to reach out over Messenger or anything like that, you know, but we're quite keen to, you know, just to chat and see what we can do at the moment, because I mean, I think everyone in this new way of doing things is figuring out new ways to work and to make those connections where we might have gone and, you know, had a cup of tea together and chatted months ago.
That's true. I mean, from the Agi side, like the we open to collaborate with Facebook as well. If you want to have intimate session, kind of like for the developer, etc. like that. I think that's for me. Okay, there is a bonus question. Maybe do we? Okay, Edwin asked that where or who we could contact to ask for a consultation on our app advertising campaign.
I think that might be me. So maybe Alvin can pass you the questions or your contact to
Yes,
Agi.
probably. Okay, Edwin could ask Agi after this session, right? Okay, I think that's the wrap up the whole session. Thank you so much for everyone to enjoy the session as well. Thank you for us. Thank you for Chief for awesome presentation. Hopefully we could collaborate more in the future as well. Thank you. I think that's all for me. Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Thanks everyone for joining the webinar. It's been a real pleasure to present, and thank you for the questions as well. Hope we can get in touch with some of the folks on the webinar individually too.
So yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you.